If you're watching this, you're likely one of those people who wakes up every morning with one single goal: to do as little as possible. Productivity, what even is that? And don't get me started on things like discipline or routines. Of course, excuses are always on the menu. I don't have time, I'm in college, I work all day, or my favorite, 5 more minutes on TikTok and then I'll start. Those 5 minutes obviously turn into hours, switching from one app to another, from TikTok to Instagram to YouTube, and repeating the loop. But it doesn't matter. Thanks for being here, because if you found this video, the idea of changing your life and becoming a developer is still there, even if it's just in your head. This is where you ask yourself, how on earth am I supposed to do this if I don't even feel like moving? And naturally, while you stay trapped between procrastination and excuses, you see people online who seem to have already made it. They're all super productive, successful, and motivated, and you, well, you're still stuck. But today I promise you something. In this video, I'll show you how to be that great developer you dream of, despite the laziness, excuses, and self-sabotage. How do I know? It's simple, because I'm one of them too. I've been there. And yes, I'm quite lazy. Call it procrastination, laziness, or whatever you want. But it's been my constant, and yet, after more than 5 years as a developer, here I am, with a solid freelance career and plenty of work. So if you're looking for how to beat that laziness and move forward, you've come to the right place. Now, why does everyone else seem successful while you aren't? Well, because you only see those who are doing well. You're used to seeing extreme productivity on social media, but behind that, there's a lot of fiction. We're going to dismantle that toxicity and those tips that sound like a robot manual, but we'll do it with a realistic approach. Welcome to the Super Productivity Show, that fantasy where people wake up at 3 a.m., run a marathon by 5 a.m., and rebuild the Roman Empire in between. Eat a fit breakfast, meditate, and work 3 hours straight without distractions. And of course, they still have time to philosophize about life. Oh, and in the afternoon, they manage their startup while playing a few rounds of Fortnite. It's an illusion. You only see that 1% of their lives that they choose to show. Yes, I fell into that trap too. I tried to project this image of being a super productive person. Believe me, it's not just fake. It's exhausting. If you have a job, responsibilities, and family or friends, it's simply not realistic. So if you're watching this, I imagine your situation doesn't fit the superhuman fantasy either. Now that we've laid that out, let me confess something. Remember when I said I studied 8 to 12 hours a day to become a developer? The reality is those hours were a mix of distractions, split screens, half tutorials, Netflix, and World of Warcraft. I wasn't even focused half the time. If I hadn't been so distracted, I would have reached my goals much faster, but I also would have burned out completely. So no, I'm not that super productive guy you might imagine, but I have managed to make it through. And here, I'll show you how. Oh, and speaking of goals, let me tell you about my ideal body. Remember when I said I was working on it? Well, that project is still on standby. I've only been hitting the gym consistently this last month. During my coding years, I gained over 50 pounds, maybe even more. That was due to other factors like my girlfriend being pregnant and us eating out almost every day. And of course, it wasn't exactly healthy food. She managed to lose the weight, but I didn't. Yes, coding and fitness don't always go together, and I'm in the process of recovering. I think I'm doing much better now, though I have a long way to go, but you learn from this. You don't see this on social media, you only see the moments where everything looks perfect. I do one push-up, post an Instagram photo, and suddenly I'm a fitness guru. You can also post a video working endless hours, and with some editing, it looks like you're making millions in passive income. The worst part is that it seems so believable, but let's drop the act and get real. I want to show you how to turn those flaws, bad habits, and the urge to procrastinate into your best allies. Because your problems can be your best skills. Stay until the end, because that's when I'll share the final tip that really helped me. And no, this isn't the typical trick of waking up at 4 a.m. doing yoga or aligning your chakras for peace. No mystical nonsense, you've heard enough of that. Instead, let me introduce you to the philosophy of productive laziness. Yes, laziness can be your best motivator. If you'd rather be lounging on the couch than doing anything else, use that. I felt the same way when I decided to get into coding. The idea of becoming a developer seemed absurd, yet brilliant. It was like saying, let's see if I can actually do this just to prove I can, And I did it, but it wasn't all epic victories. Honestly, I kept asking myself, how long will it take for me to quit? So, you see, I didn't have much faith, but I swapped the bed for a chair, which, by the way, wasn't the most comfortable, but it had a backrest. That's how I started, because that's what matters, starting. Not waiting to feel like Rocky Balboa every single day. Laziness isn't always the enemy. Sometimes it saves you from burning out. Today, 4 hours of study for my dev career. Tomorrow, quality rest watching memes on the couch like a happy seal. That is true balance, and yes, I'm exaggerating a bit, but I think you get it. Laziness is your motivation's self-defense system. Without it, who would take the necessary break to avoid exploding? Who could last 6 months straight studying web development without stopping? And yes, I see your comments. I did it. You're not a real man. That's fine. Some people can do it, but many others cannot. Look, we aren't all the same, and we certainly aren't robots. If you don't take breaks for some TikToks, you'll burn out. The typical advice to fight your laziness is a toxic myth. And believe me, I tried it. In the end, my formula was to embrace laziness and use it as an excuse not to quit. And speaking of productivity, let's mention the Pomodoro technique. You know, that wonder that tells you to work for 25 minutes, rest for 5, and then repeat. After 4 cycles, you take a longer break, and that's it. You're now a productivity machine. The ultimate AI? That's going to change the world. Well, it's not bad advice, I'll admit. Breaks are important, and the theory works. But only if you apply logic and a touch of reality. Think about it. Who has a coding course that lasts exactly 25 minutes? What happens? If you're finally understanding something and the alarm rings, you stop cold and lose your focus. And what about real work? What if you're in a meeting or need to solve something urgent? Will you say no because your timer ended? No, that's not it. Don't count minutes. Just find the right moment to stop. After finishing something meaningful, that's when you take a break. You just understood how Python classes work. Perfect. Now grab a coffee, take a walk, and get back to it when you're ready. Because that is real productivity, strategic breaks. Find the right time to rest without turning your brain into mush. Then there's the classic advice. Divide big tasks into small steps. Sure, in theory, it sounds wonderful. Supposedly, if you break down a giant task, it's less intimidating and you can see the light at the end. But here's the reality. The more you fragment tasks, the lazier you feel. Because suddenly you have 1,000 mini tasks and an endless list. Eventually, you see it all piled up and your motivation vanishes. In my experience, don't divide everything. Just dedicate a specific time. Simply block out a couple of hours and see how much progress you can make. This way you can plan realistically and avoid spending hours making endless lists. Based on that, you can plan the rest. For example, today, 2 hours to understand variables and data types. Tomorrow, 2 more hours for functions. And yes, these hours can align with the length of the course you're taking. You don't need a NASA-style mission plan. Just make sure you know what you want to achieve in each session. This will help you much more than creating mini problems out of a big one. Now for another repeated piece of advice. Create a schedule and follow it strictly. Live like a soldier with rigid work blocks and exact scheduled breaks. It sounds good in theory, but in real life, such rigid discipline only leads to frustration within days and you end up quitting. Motivation fades when everything becomes a chore. What is the point of coding if you feel forced to follow a schedule like a robot, especially if you have other responsibilities? Many people work in other sectors while they are learning how to program. It is not unrealistic. Unexpected things happen, more work, family emergencies, power outages, whatever it may be. I fell into that trap too, and I was wrong. Having a plan is fine, but do not become obsessed with it. Instead of a rigid scheme, sit down the day before or an hour before, starting and think about what you want to do. Yes, you can have a general guide, but not something that ties you down. If you missed functions yesterday, review them today. Tomorrow you can move on to asynchronous programming. Keep your plan flexible. Because in programming and in life, not everything is understood at first. I wish it were that simple, but it is not. Understanding that you won't grasp everything at once is the first step. Problems arise and frustration follows when your perfect plan fails. That is when you think if this fails, everything else must fail too. You get frustrated and quit. So be careful with military-style planning. It can be more of a trap than a help. Another classic. Remove all distractions from your environment. Turn off notifications and block websites that distract you. Create a pure, sacred space to work. Well, in theory, like everything else, it sounds ideal. But when I started, I studied with a game open on the side. Not the best example, I know. And sure, it made my learning progress longer, but it was also what allowed me to keep going. Why? Because doing it that way made it more bearable, entertaining, and well, it helped me quite a bit. Everyone has their own situation, and I had my own challenges. I had to support my family because my partner was expecting our child, and I didn't have a bright future then. That pressure and lack of time were heavy, so making the process enjoyable was key for me to not quit. The point is not to eliminate all distractions, but to make the process entertaining enough so that you do not get tired of it. For me, it became a habit. I would finish studying content blocks and then play a couple of hours of Fortnite. That helped me more than you can imagine. Slowly, I stopped needing those rewards, and I ended up falling in love with programming too. I always liked this world. And of course, I never really got into it fully, because in the end, when you study, it's not just about studying non-stop and suffering. No, I learned to code because I added small rewards into the process. I'd watch the course, break it down, and then give myself a well-deserved break. And yes, some might not agree with this, but those distractions helped me keep up the pace. If I had started differently and suffered more, who knows how I would have ended up. I didn't just play games and rest, I learned to code in the meantime. You might not agree with me again, but these distractions were what allowed me to keep going. Remember, don't overdo it, but do find a balance. Let's move to another classic. Find someone to supervise you. In theory, it sounds perfect. That super pro programmer friend who will teach you all the theory, give you exercises, and remind you every day to work on. Practice, who has a friend who acts as a free tutor? And even if you pay, who do you think will dedicate time just to you? Luckily, things like boot camps and online courses exist to help you structure your learning. But nothing is as personalized as having someone push you daily. So if you don't have someone like that, it's okay. You can still learn. It might be harder, but channels like mine help you create a proper plan to study and progress. And with that, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. This helps me a lot now, another classic you've probably heard 1,000 times. The 2-minute rule, it means if something takes less than 2 minutes, just do it right now. In theory, it's a great way to clear small tasks before they pile up and overwhelm you. Look, it's not bad, but often those short tasks just feel like such a chore. Honestly, I really recommend you give this a shot because I've learned it's truly worth applying. Do it, and you won't regret it. Also, something that works quite well is setting small rewards. It's like gamifying your learning. You finish your task, treat yourself to a snack, and get back to work. But watch out for sugary or greasy prizes. They really made me gain a lot of weight. Anyway, back to the point. Finish a course video, and if you understood it, watch an anime episode to celebrate. Something as simple as a 30-minute walk can be enough to clear your head and return to study with more drive. Ultimately, it's about staying motivated over time. Because, no, you won't become a developer overnight. The key is to start, not give up, and accept there will be days you don't want to do anything. Laziness will try to win. It will tell you to watch another YouTube video or that anime that won't watch itself. But don't worry, it's part of the process. If you give in to laziness occasionally, it's not the end of the world. On the contrary, if you learn to live with it and give it space, it can be your best ally. To avoid burnout, I set a challenge. If you feel lazy, sit for an hour doing absolutely nothing. No TikTok, no shows, no naps, just you and the wall. I guarantee that after 15 minutes, you'll be so desperate you'll prefer to study. And that's the trick. It's not about always fighting your laziness, but knowing when to yield and when to push. Believe me, you don't need to go full throttle every day until you're exhausted. If you burn out, you won't get far. So work hard, but take the breaks you need. Don't punish yourself for taking a day off. Tomorrow, you'll return with more energy, and that's what matters. So, if you're as lazy as I am, know you have the same chance to become a developer as anyone else. And if you think about it, maybe even more. Because those super efficient, productive types, those productivity gurus, also risk burning out completely. And very lazy people know how to manage well to create programs that help them do very little. Use your laziness to your advantage. Start studying and you know your official break is over. And if this video helped you even a little bit, leave a comment and share it with those who could use it. Thanks for watching until the end. Cheers.